has killed his wife for not wearing a burqa. Her choice was buried in their own home. Literally. Yes, viewers, she was buried in her own home after the murder. Gruesome pictures of excavations in the man's own home reveal the truth. The man didn't even spare his two daughters. This triple murder, viewers, has shocked the nation. The sequence is as follows, and this is all, viewers, reported by the police, and these are AI generated visuals. Tahira and two girls went missing for 6 days. Farouk's father gets suspicious, seeks a reply from his son. The bodies of 3 victims are found buried in a 7-foot deep pit. Farouk shoots wife Tahira after an argument over visiting parents without wearing a burqa or leaving the house without wearing a burqa. Farouk allegedly wakes his wife under the excuse of making tea. Farouk then shoots the wife and elder daughter. Younger daughter allegedly strangled also on the intervening night of December 9th and 10th. Farouk confesses to his crime on December 17th and said financial stress and frequent arguments, anger, humiliation were the triggers. Accused planned the crime in advance. Farouk dug a deep pit in the courtyard, buried bodies. Farouk covered the spot with bricks. Bodies were recovered, sent for post-mortem and examination. Contrast this silence to 2 days ago when outrage is selectively mouthed. Nitish Kumar becomes the villain of the week for denying a woman her choice to wear a burqa. You can see him, viewers. He tugs at a woman's veil. While this outrage is justified, he had no right to do so. Misogyny within the community is treated as an internal matter off limits for scrutiny. When a woman asserts agency, why is Muslim Personal Law Board suddenly weaponized as a shield for patriarchy? That the victim in question was policed by her husband has been well established. Even the police say she was denied her basic freedoms. Listen in, viewers, to these thoughts. One from her relatives and one from the police.
उसके घर पे कोई नहीं आता जाता था जब से उसकी शादी हुई। यहाँ तक अगर हमारे परिवार में शादी हुई या मौत हुई, कुछ भी हुई, 15 दिन पहले हमारे भाई का भी इंतकाल हुआ, जब वो हमारे घर पे भी नहीं आने दी उसने।
तो ऐसा क्यों था?
बस पहले से ही जब से शादी हुई किसी से भी नहीं मिलने देता था, यहाँ तक कि कोई रिश्तेदार में कहीं भी आना जाना कुछ नहीं था उसका।
उसने घटना स्वीकार कर ली। पुलिस को मौके पे लाके डेड बॉडी बरामद करा दे, डेड बॉडी निकल चुकी है। इसमें घटना का लगभग मोटिव भी क्लियर हो गया है इसमें। तो मुझे लगता कि एक झूठी शान के खातिर कि हमारी पत्नी बिना बुर्के के, बिना नकाब के चली गई। अभी पहला मोटिव तो यही निकला है, लेकिन और भी हमारी पुलिस इसमें बातचीत कर रही है, कहीं कोई और भी इसमें एंगल ना हो उसके पत्नी की हत्या का।
For years now, the veil of patriarchy has been left to hang over Muslim women like the proverbial Damocles sword. The Supreme Court, which should have cleared up the issue, is keeping the matter hanging. Viewers, isn't this delay denying choice? The case pertains to a hijab ban in Karnataka educational institutions. The top court delivered a split verdict in the case, challenging restrictions. Justice Hemant Gupta said the ban ensured secularity in education system. Basically, women were asked not to enter a series of schools run by the state government with the hijab and the burqa, and specifically not the classroom. And this led to various litigation. And as I said, one of the Supreme Court judges, Hemant Gupta, said the ban ensured secularity in the education system. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia came out and disagreed. A matter of choice of Muslim women. Case referred to therefore a larger bench, no final judgment on the matter yet. And viewers, since then this matter has lain there. And why does the apex court hesitate to decisively settle the hijab issue in schools? An issue fundamentally about choice and equality. Incidents like these force an uncomfortable question. Do they strengthen the case for universal gender just laws? When a woman asserts agency, why is Muslim Personal Law Board suddenly weaponized, rather Muslim personal law suddenly weaponized as a shield for patriarchy? Since when did faith become a license to police women's bodies, choices and lives? Well, there are several other big questions which will appear on your screens, but let's open this up. Let's ask some direct questions to some of our guests tonight. And fundamentally, viewers, we have to address this issue head on. And we have with us, we're lucky to have with us, an advocate who is also, let me tell you, progressive. Nilofer Masood, spokesperson of the National Conference, is here with us. The police have prima facie said, ma'am, that the man has confessed that, look, the lady left the house without her burqa, went to visit her parents, etc., didn't like it. We got into an argument. It triggered my rage and it led to her death. Now, the question is very, very simply this, ma'am. Why is this entire episode greeted with absolute silence? Where are all these women activists who constantly talk about choice, etc., today? And given the silence, I just want to ask you a simple question. And look, even the UBT Sena MPs have come out and talked. Priyanka Chaturvedi, a female MP, says total lack of choice to women on wearing burqa. So I'm asking, why don't we move towards gender justice by adopting laws that are gender just? Why are we caught up in this whole business of faith, whole business of personal law, etc., etc.?
Well, Rahul, there are certain rights which have been protected, in fact, given the protection by our own constitution. Be it Article 21, which is in fact the heart of the constitution, which provides that everybody has a right to live life with dignity. And it is in fact the woman's choice what she chooses to wear and what her faith should be. So read with Article 25, it guarantees the right to conscience and propagate and freedom of religion itself. Leaving that apart, one wrong cannot justify. I'm not justifying what the man has done to his wife, why he has buried her. In fact, the law has to take its own course during the investigation. Other matters will also be taken up. As has been said, one of the relatives that it is one of the reasons, and maybe there are some other reasons which will be in fact the real reason why this woman has been killed. That is one side of the coin. But the other thing, we cannot justify the illegal act which has been committed by the CM of the Bihar, Nitish Kumar, wherein the instant of pulling the veil of a female woman doctor, that cannot be justified. That is condemnable. And in fact, it is not a trial of the lapse of the what we can say etiquettes,
no, but ma'am,
it is a serious violation.
Why are you
Let me complete. It is a
goalposts?
serious violation of the fundamental rights,
Yes,
personal
ma'am,
liberty.
we all agree.
So
choices. Why is it a violation? And let me tell you, viewers, why. And let's just split these visuals. On this side, we'll show you, viewers, the excavation. And on the other side, viewers, we'll show you Nitish Kumar's act. Now, this is an indefensible act, viewers. Nitish Kumar pulls the veil forcefully of a woman, denying her her choice. The woman might be very comfortable in exercising her choice to wear her burqa. Maybe in her own mind, she may not want to, but she is. And she's there receiving an award, and you are, one minute, and you are pulling down her burqa. This is absolutely condemnable. But this is the reason why. The reason is because we are violating her choice. On the other side, viewers, a woman chooses not to wear the veil, goes to the house of her parents. Husband gets enraged. Clearly, there was also something in the background, no doubt. But this incident triggers his rage to the point where he shoots her and buries her in his own place, in his own home, 6 feet under. And I am not hearing, no, excuse me, madam, this is all fine. Where are the great women politicians of Jammu and Kashmir, the rights activists of Jammu and Kashmir that have been rightly going after Nitish Kumar? I am not saying they were wrong, they are right. But why are they silent about this? And if they feel so strongly about the issue of choice, why aren't they talking about this? Why has Shamli not become an issue? Simple. In the community.
Rahul, it is a very serious issue and it should be dealt with strongly as provided under the provisions of the law.
I don't hear, ma'am.
It
I don't
speaks
hear
about
the outrage.
power.
I don't
It
hear the
speaks-
outrage. The
it speaks
Samajwadi
about the
Party
power
today is
and the
silent.
patriarchy.
Samajwadi
Where
Party is
you are
silent today. Not
imposing your
one
will.
tweet
While
from
you are
Samajwadi
strongly
Party
imposing
women
your
MPs.
will, being the
Not
powerful.
one tweet, viewers, from Congress women MPs. Yesterday, viewers, rightly, they all went after Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar clearly has a problem. These issues are now coming out into the forefront. Subhrashtra, I want to ask you, am I asking the right question or am I asking the wrong questions tonight?
Rahul, you're absolutely asking the right questions. Let me tell you why I feel that burqa itself is not the question, choice is. In the Nitish Kumar incident, the issue was a state power crossing a line. I agree with that. But let us also keep one context in mind, and the context was that this woman on stage was not receiving an award from the Chief Minister, Rahul. She was receiving an appointment letter for Ayush. So the question also is, should the state identify people, identify those who are receiving the appointment letter correctly or not? That is also
What
a
is
question that must be
justification?
asked.
What
I
is
don't think we are
justification?
asking that question.
Okay, I'm
Second point.
sure that there
Second
are other
point.
ways of
I'm
vetting.
sorry to hear
No,
the
I'm
justification.
sure that there are. First of all, let me just come in here 1 second. You see, viewers, I don't want to be tomorrow accused of trying to suggest that this act is defensible. It's not defensible. Let me
It
say
is
this.
not,
Yes,
Rahul, which is why
yes.
I began by saying
That's right.
that it
So
is state
let's
power crossing
there
a
are
line.
ways of vetting. You could have done it before she went to the stage. You could have asked her to produce all her IDs, etc., etc. A lady could have checked out, a lady woman official of the government could have checked out her antecedents, etc., etc. So there are ways of dealing with all of this, and Nitish Kumar can't go around pulling people's burqas without their permission. He can't even be touching her in
Rahul,
any way,
which is
familiar
why-
or otherwise.
Yes,
So let's park
which
that
is
aside.
why-
Come to the
yes,
point.
which is why I said that this issue was state power crossing a line. I'm very
Great.
clear about that.
Great. That's wonderful.
Now, the
Yeah.
in the Shamli murder case, the issue is private coercion escalating into criminal violence. Here, burqa was not a symbol of faith, but a tool of control. Therefore, we really need to understand that a woman's refusal or perceived refusal, if it can become a ground for lethal punishment, then it is no longer about religion. It is about patriarchy weaponizing itself. It is about patriarchy weaponizing belief. And it is also about collapse of law inside the home. Therefore, choice cannot be romanticized where fear exists, is the single point that I want to make. It is a single cultural argument which I want to make. Because if one talks about India and the context in which all these Indic traditions, which includes certain practices in Islam also, the question is really fundamentally about choice. And choice only exists where power is restrained. In this case, the power should be restrained by a man in case of the Shamli instance.
That's a very good point. I think that's a very valid argument, and no one can, I think, find fault with it. Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Look, and this is a question. We are not in Iran. We are not in Pakistan. This is not an Islamist state. This is not some state that is a theocracy. We're a constitutional democracy, sir. And I want to ask you a simple question. Enough is enough. We can't leave it now to people to interpret whether the woman is right in exercising a choice or not. Because clearly the outcome is disastrous, whether it is Nitish Kumar or this individual. It is disastrous. We can't. Let the law step in. Let the law come in. And I want to ask you, sir, has the time come to move towards, and please follow my question. I am asking a problematic question. I am asking for a very, very simple solution. And that is, does this incident, does the Nitish Kumar incident, does this incident, specifically this one, strengthen the case for universal, gender-just laws, or let me put it very simply, a UCC?
No, listen, nobody is defending what happened in Shamli. Okay, that was a barbaric act, and he should be punished in his strongest way. What could be the law is there. Okay, but you know, we can't leave it. We can't leave it. You are saying that we can't leave it. We are leaving everything. We are leaving everything. You have not discussed what Sanjay Nishad has said. मैं बोलता हूँ कि संजय निषाद ने क्या कहा है, वो भी तो आदमी है, नीतीश कुमार भी तो आदमी है। नकाब छू लिया तो इतना हो गया, कहीं और छू देते तो क्या हो जाता? No, this is normal. If somebody from Samajwadi,
one
it's a
minute,
normal.
sir, don't confuse. See, let me take you back in your own history, sir. Mulayam Singh Yadav ji, who is no longer with us, came out and said boys will be boys. So let's not go there, please. And there are plenty of people in your own party who have come out and rationalized all sorts of sickness and perversion. I am not here sitting here and no, 1 second, Tariq Khan sir, please.
Thank you very much.
No, don't be unfair. Don't be unfair tonight.
I'm leaving. You just said
why?
मुलायम सिंह यादव के पीछे छुपना चाहते हैं आप? मुलायम सिंह यादव के पीछे छुपना चाहते हैं, इसके अलावा और कुछ है? आज आप बीजेपी से you have nothing to ask भारतीय जनता पार्टी कि एक भारतीय जनता पार्टी कैबिनेट का मिनिस्टर what he is saying कि कहीं और छू लिया होता, and you are shedding behind मुलायम सिंह यादव. I'm leaving this show. You are shameless.
No, why?
Shameless.
Tariq Khan, let me ask you, are you here to see, viewers, this is the problem. This is exactly the problem. These people will not accept the issue at hand. And the issue is very clear. There are double standards. Mr. Gupta, what do you make of this Samajwadi Party counter-attack?
Rahul, you had asked a very tough question to the Samajwadi spokesperson about the Uniform Civil Code, and that is why probably he thought that theatric was the best route, the best exit route. Look, the two events are indefensible. There's no question about it. But when it came to Nitish Kumar, everyone was looking at the incident from the prism of religion. What Nitish Kumar did, however wrong, was somehow made into a matter of religion, somehow into a matter of the minority rights. Fair enough. That's the prerogative of the commentators. Now, when this incident has happened in Shamli, why is it a private affair? Why aren't we acknowledging the social factors that played a role in this heinous crime? Why are we not acknowledging that the government, which has been for a decade now trying to engineer a social change within the community through the abolishment of, say, triple talaq, that is looked down upon by a lot of commentators who today are underplaying this as a private affair. Oh, that man is a maniac, that man needs psychological help. No. You have to acknowledge there are certain social factors at play that need to be discussed, and honest conversation is required around them, but we do not have it. And yes, we need UCC. There is no doubt about that. Why should a woman or her children suffer this fate because of certain laws that do not work for one community but work for the majority of the community? Why should it work that way? Why? Everyone is a citizen of India first. Everyone should have the same protection under the law. And that is what we all ask. Every woman needs to be feeling safe inside her home. Why is there a differentiation around this? I will never understand, Rahul.
No, so let me ask you, Ms. Masood, look, you're a lawyer. You understand the law. And I asked you a simple question. Why should this be left to people to interpret through the lens of religion, etc., the issue of choice? I can't understand this. So I'm asking, yes, it's a problematic question. It's an uncomfortable question. Does incidents such as this strengthen the case for universal gender just laws or a UCC? Why shouldn't we move towards a UCC? We will have no problems. Choice will be protected.
Well, Rahul, I think choices have already been given protection by our own constitution. And in fact, the Muslims are not against uniform this reforms and equality. If there will be uniform equality and reforms, Muslims are with. But many oppose UCC because of certain reasons, because they fear about identity selective targeting, lack of trust. That is the reason they are against this idea. And you know that for many Muslim personal laws, which provides that it is the protection has already been given under the Article 25, but the Muslims are against the UCC because they feel that their identity, which religion gives them, that may be diluted by this UCC, and imposing of a majoritarian cultural framework that may again affect them and reduce the pluralism that India guarantees within. That is the reason that Muslims are against this UCC. And once the protections are already been provided in the constitution, then what is the reason of having this uniform UCC? Unless and until it does not affect the personal religion of any person. That is the reason that Muslims mostly believe that there should be no UCC. for it may affect their identity, which has been guaranteed under the constitution itself.
So the identity is linked to a patriarchal view of the world, Subhrashtra. Is that what I'm hearing here? Is that really what is happening? I mean, what are we going to change if the UCC is applied?
Exactly.
For
Just-
marriages, underage marriages, differentiation, inheritance laws. I think we need to move beyond. And why is it that only one community gets this right and no other? The others are willfully submitted to the state and the law and have allowed for the codification of their personal laws. And this is the point I'm asking. Tariq Saab is not answering me. No one wants to answer me. I don't understand. Tariq Saab, I asked a simple question. Why don't we just bring the UCC? Yes, what the BJP has said, let me first say, what the BJP has said is terrible. Should be condemned. BJP should be condemned. Okay.
No. First
Nitish
answer
Kumar
my
should be
question.
condemned.
No. First answer my question, then I'll answer your question.
Yes, sir,
I have a
please.
point to make.
Go.
If the same thing said by Sanjay Nishad, suppose it has been said by somebody else, somebody from opposition, let it be Tariq Khan. So what would be happen today? क्या होता आज? आप लोग क्या कर रहे होते? क्या कर रहे होते? Now today you have just sidelined Sanjay Nishad's statement. It's very okay, and you just have Mulayam Singh Yadav to उनके पीछे छुपने के लिए. मुलायम सिंह यादव का स्टेटमेंट याद आ गया आपको उसके पीछे, बट यू हैव जस्टिफाइड संजय निषाद. You have justified Sanjay Nishad's statement. Yes, you have justified.
Okay.
You have said nothing about that. That's all right. He should be immediately thrown out of the cabinet.
Who was Sanjay Nishad talking about?
Sanjay Nishad talking about?
Who was he talking about? Who was he referring to?
He's referring to that girl, and he's referring to the whole female of India.
No, I'm talking about which incident is he referring to?
Nitish Kumar incident.
And what have I said about Nitish Kumar, viewers? I've said it's
No,
highly
I just said
condemnable
nothing
and no
about-
one can defend this.
And nothing
And
about-
Nitish
nothing
Kumar,
about-
sir, I can't
nothing
sit
about
here and take
Sanjay
action
Nishad.
against Nitish Kumar, sir. I can only
You
ask
can
questions which we
BJP.
have done.
You can ask. BJP is not here. You can ask
Bhai,
BJP.
Sir,
Why
if
he's
the
still part
BJP
of the
decides,
cabinet?
if the BJP decides that it doesn't want to interlocute on this, what can I do? घसीट के ले आऊं, sir. Congress also doesn't want to come. What do I do?
हमको भी तो घसीट के लाती हैं आप ना.
अरे भैया
मुर्खे पे नहीं
आप
लाए
आ नहीं रहे हैं, sir.
That's not the stand of समाजवादी
Come
पार्टी
on,
ना.
sir. I mean,
हमसे
let's
मुर्खे से क्या मतलब?
let's be reasonable,
आप
sir.
UCC
I
लेके-
can't. I don't have the
नहीं,
power.
हमको भी तो घसीट के
I
लेके
don't have the
आते हैं.
power. Okay, one second. I don't
हमको
have
भी
the
तो घसीट
power.
के लेके
I don't
आते
have the
हैं.
power to drag people to my show. I
But
can
you
only
shouldn't-
invite them
you shouldn't
in the
have
hope that they will
discussion.
reciprocate and they will appear.
We shouldn't have discussion without BJP. How can we have a discussion?
Sir,
Without
I have
BJP?
taken a position. You may have a problem, ask them in parliament. I have taken a position. I have said what Nitish Kumar has done is
You have not
indefensible.
taken a position.
Sir, I have
You
taken a position. I have
you
said
have
what
not
Nitish
taken
Kumar has done is
even-
indefensible. If there is
I'm
anybody
talking about
supporting
Sanjay
Nitish
Nishad.
Kumar, I even ticked
I'm
off
talking
Subhrashtra
about
ji
Sanjay Nishad.
right now on the show. Sir, don't make this an
Sanjay
issue.
Nishad
Don't make this an
statement
issue. It's a
even more-
non-issue.
even more
I'm asking you a
criminal.
simple question, sir.
It's an issue.
I
It's
have
an
come
issue.
here. I have come here with a clear conscience. I want to ask you, Mr. Khan, I want to ask you a question. Why are you running away from it? I'm asking you a
I'm
simple
not
question.
asking you anything.
Should we move towards gender neutral? No, please. I'm asking you.
Bring
Gender
everything,
neutral,
whatever you
gender
want to
just
bring.
laws. Yes, no.
Bring it everything, whatever you want to bring it.
Okay,
But
bring it.
Leave
Bye.
Sanjay Nishad. Leave Sanjay
Okay.
Nishad. Because
Yes.
Give him clean chit.
Yes, Subhrashtra.
Sanjay Nishad,
Go
there
ahead.
would
Go
be
ahead.
clean
Respond to him.
May I please respond to Mr. Tariq? I think let me compliment Mr. Tariq's party for one stand that they took on SIR. They are actually complementing the Election Commission, working on ground with their volunteers to ensure that role divisions are happening. In a similar context, they should actually back the UCC, because UCC is not about culture. It's not a cultural erasure project. It's a citizenship project. It's a citizenship project which ensures that people's faith is protected, but inequality is not. That no community, majority or minority has any veto power over gender justice. In fact, there are a lot of practices in the Muslim, personal law today, which can be replicated by the Hindus. For instance, their inheritance question. So my problem is, if the Hindu community or the Parsi community or the Jain community is not anxious about their cultural erasure, why is Muslim community the only community, in fact, which is so vehemently and aggressively against this? And by the way, Muslims, let me also bring to the table that Muslims are not actually the real minorities in India.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and talk about population, demography, and all of that. We know this for a fact. You know, there are certain instances, Rahul, where it is essential for all of us to take moral constitutional positions. The real question is not whether Muslims should fear the UCC. The real question actually is that uniformity in law does not require uniformity in belief. A confident republic can hold both.
Okay,
And
well,
the Muslim community intellectuals who need to come forward.
viewers,
and
I will lay the blame on the Supreme Court's door. 3 years it's been waffling. And the sword of Damocles is hanging over the head of Muslim women today. If they choose, they have to pay for their lives. And no one is standing up for them, viewers. Just lip service is being paid. And this is not right. I want to move on, viewers, because there is a story that we must focus on, and I can't even begin to tell you how striking the contrast is. On a day when the Prime Minister is out there selling India's growth story to the world, convincing foreign governments and global investors that India is open for business, and you can see on your right, viewers, top investors sitting with the Prime Minister, offering to bring in billions of dollars to invest in our country. He's holding investor meets, he's traveling abroad, he's going to Ethiopia, he's going to Oman, he's going to other countries, corralling business and hoping that investors will come. Telling them that India is open for business, it's confident and competitive. While all this is going on, the leader of the opposition, viewers, is in Germany. He's at the BMW factory and you can see him there on bikes, in the cars, trying out everything. And he's busy declaring that the Indian economy is not up to the mark. This is what he says. Manufacturing is the backbone of strong economies. Sadly, in India, manufacturing is declining. For us to accelerate growth, we need to produce more. We need to build meaningful manufacturing ecosystems. We need to create high-quality jobs at scale. This is what Rahul Gandhi is saying. A lot of it is not wrong, viewers, except that, viewers, it's devoid of fact. Has Rahul Gandhi looked at the numbers? Exports have risen from $34 billion in October to $38 billion in November. $4 billion, viewers, at a time when tariffs are being slapped on India. Imports have fallen sharply from 76 billion to 66 billion. What does this tell you? If you're exporting more, we must be producing more, right? Someone must be producing it. Viewers, Make in India is soaring. Electronics production over a 10-year period has grown 495%. There's a number. Electronics exports over a 10-year period has grown 760%. Manufacturing units in 2014-15 were about 2 units of mobiles. Today there are 300 units, which is a 14,900% increase. Mobile phone production in 10 years currently stands at 5.45 lakh crores, a 2,928% increase. Mobile phone exports, look at the numbers, viewers, increase of 13,000%. Vehicle production in 1991, 2 million units, a 1,300% increase now. Clearly, they are being made in factories. The result, a trade deficit at a 5-month low, $24 billion, driven by lower gold, oil and coal imports. This is not spin, this is a hard fact, viewers. Here are the numbers. Despite tariffs, India's exports, even to the United States, have grown. Can you believe it, viewers? Merchandise trade exports are also up. There is another equation for you, viewers. You can see the numbers by $4 billion. And the story is long and lengthy. Trade deficit, you can see, viewers, it's fallen. Yet Rahul Gandhi insists everybody knows the Indian economy is a dead economy. This is what he said, if you remember, viewers, a few months ago. He was echoing Donald Trump. Everybody knows the Indian economy is a dead economy. Everybody knows this is, except the Prime Minister and Finance Minister. I'm glad that President Trump has stated a fact. BJP has finished the economy to help crony capitalists. So what he said in July. Everybody, yes, knows except investors, exporters, global CEOs and governments lining up to do business with India. So who exactly is Rahul Gandhi speaking for? At a moment when India is pitching itself as a stable, reliable alternative in a fractured global economy, the opposition chooses to talk the country down, abroad, not even at home, viewers. Or to put it bluntly, is this economic critique or economic sabotage? I think this question has to be bluntly put today, and I know that people will be upset by my asking this question in blunt terms. What is going on, Mr. Mishra? I have to ask you this question. The facts are speaking a completely different story, and I've put those facts out for you.
Rahul, facts are not created as a press release. Facts are the one which is reality on the ground. And if you look at the reality on the ground, our MSME has collapsed completely. If you look at the different sectors, if manufacturing is really prospering, then we should have more jobs. Why there are suicides of people because of the problem has doubled in last 10 years. The Kisan has their income doubled. What do you mean by a prospering manufacturing country when you are lacking behind Vietnam or Bangladesh in certain sector? So you can put things on paper as a number, but the harsh reality does not change, and the harsh reality is people in India are dying because of poverty, because of hunger. People don't have jobs. If you're really creating so many jobs in the country, probably this job wouldn't have been an issue. Why did Modi promise 2 crores jobs and did not deliver on it? So on paper, you can have any sort of growth. Also, it is important that the GDP, the percentage of the manufacturing GDP was promised 25%, but it remains unchanged or rather declined in last 11 years. Is staying around 14 to 15% of total GDP. So BJP is just a promise, not a deliverable factory.
Okay. Sanju Verma, could you respond to this gentleman, please?
Thank you, Rahul. Many congratulations on your new role. And let me come straight to the facts. First and foremost, GDP growth FY22 for India 9.7%, FY23 7.6%, FY24 9.2%, FY25 6.5%. So in the last 4 financial years, India's GDP growth is a whopping 8.25%. Show me another country which is growing at 8% plus and where inflation, headline retail inflation, which is what I'm talking of, is less than 1%. October retail inflation 0.25%, November retail inflation at 0.71%. Now let's come to current account deficit. Current account deficit under the incompetent Congress government in 2012-2013 was 6.7%. Current account deficit in the last 3 years has been sub 1%. Let's talk of fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit in 2013 under Manmohan Singh was 6.9%. In FY25, India's fiscal deficit was 4.8%. We are slated to do 4.1% in the next 2 years. Now let's talk about MSMEs. MSMEs, about 6.1 crore units, today account for more than 37% of India's GDP, more than 45% of India's exports, and more than 72% of India's maritime trade. Now I'll give you the interesting fact, Rahul Shivshankar, because you understand data, and I'm so glad you do. Where is Amazon's largest facility center globally? It is in a country called India. Where is Suzuki's largest automobile hub? It is in a country called India. Where is the world's largest international finance center? It is in a place called the Gift City at Gandhinagar in Gujarat, spread over 7 million square feet, bigger than the Pentagon, which is housed over premises worth 6.5 million square feet. Now let's talk about some hard facts. I think the biggest make in India story is the fact that when we had a black swan event called the COVID pandemic in 2019-20, more than 60, you heard that right, more than 60% of the vaccines delivered and supplied globally came from India. India delivered 194 crore vaccine dosages to its own people in a record 18 months, becoming the only country to have the world's largest and fastest vaccination drive. And I'll tell you something else, Rahul. Let's not forget that today India is the world's second largest steel producer, second largest cement producer, third largest automobile producer, second largest two-wheeler manufacturer, the world's fifth largest stock exchange, and we have the world's fourth largest foreign exchange reserves, the world's seventh largest gold reserves, and guess what? You say that Make in India is not happening? Very quickly in 10 seconds. During Operation Sindoor, we used the indigenous BrahMos supersonic cruise missile.
Yeah.
During Operation Sindoor, we used the indigenously built surface-to-air missile defense system called Akash. During Operation Sindoor, we used the indigenously made kamikaze sky striker drones. And during Operation Sindoor, we used the indigenously made Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher. And my final point is this.
Okay.
I think the biggest vindication of whether Make in India is a success or not is only in three things.
Okay,
Today,
so-
our pharma products are exported to more than 200 countries. Our defense equipment is exported to more than 153 countries. And more than 98.9% of all the phones consumed in India are made in India. Ab batao.
Okay, so viewers, I just want to put a small point across that if India has to hit a 7% GDP growth rate year on year, experts suggest that India's investment rate needs to rise to about 34 to 35% of GDP. Viewers, there are trends which suggest that at this moment we are at 32.61%. It hovers between 31 and 33%. Now, what are people investing in? So, Mr. Gawande, what are people investing in? And I can give you now numbers just in the last 1 month, and you know this, you're a very well informed young man. 4 top CEOs, and you can see those pictures there in the corner of your screens, have come and met the Prime Minister and pledged individually 30 billion, 15 billion, 14 billion dollars. Clearly, they're doing it because they have confidence in the India growth story. Who wants to invest in a dead economy? So I'm asking you, do you think Rahul Gandhi has not phrased yet again his diatribe correctly? It's a simple question. Could he have framed it better?
You know, Rahul, let me start off once again by congratulating you on your new role and by saying that I'm very glad we're discussing manufacturing. And I'm glad that this has been brought up by the leader of opposition, right? Could it have been framed better? Let me lay out 3 statistics that will make it fairly clear why this is an issue we need to focus on. The first is a headline that I guess everyone here must have seen, that private sector growth has dropped to a 10-month low this month. And you've seen a single sort of point drop in manufacturing, which is a fairly significant drop, a much lower drop in terms of services. You've also seen a slump in terms of employment. You've seen unemployment rise to almost 8.7%, the highest it has been since August 2021. And finally, you've seen a weakening rupee, which has hit 90 sort of rupees to a dollar. Now, these are not bad things in and of themselves. 2 months ago, you had a manufacturing industry that was doing better, a sort of services sector that was not doing that well, right? The problem today is that unfortunately the government and unfortunately the BJP as well only wants to be commended upon all the work they're doing without any real critique. But they must also remember that the only time you unsort of questioningly praise somebody is at a farewell. So unless the government wants us to bid them adieu, I don't think we should be only praising the government, whether in India or abroad. And I don't think this distinction makes much sense anymore because you put out a tweet, it is global, right? So whether Rahul Gandhi says this in Germany or whether he says it here, to me is irrelevant and a matter not of discussion. I want to finally put it here, right, that I think we stand at a crossroads. What kind of manufacturing do we want to push for? This is a good question to ask the government. And I think it's good for all of us to have clarity as well. Do we want labor-intensive manufacturing, which is what Apple is doing, which requires assembly here? Do we want research-intensive manufacturing, which is what the semiconductor strategy is? Do we want to have an approach that focuses on exports? And I think the 90 rupees to a dollar would have helped us had tariffs not been in place. And I think the government has done a good job in controlling both domestic inflation and managing expectations in terms of export sort of crisis. But these are conversations that need to be had with this level of specificity without a sort of jingoism.
I only asked a question and that I need a specific answer to, and you didn't answer it. I think you agree with me that this diatribe could have been better framed. Look, as long as the trajectory is upwards, it is not a decline. Right. I mean, we basically understand that. And I have shown you statistics now. So I'm asking you once again, do you believe that Mr. Gandhi, we are not stopping him, please come out, criticize, be constructive. I mean, I didn't like, for example, a tweet. It was Shashi Tharoor who liked a tweet which said that today the Congress party opposes for the sake of opposition. I never said yes to that tweet. He said yes to that tweet. So I'm asking you, is this just opposition now for the sake of the opposition? Could it have been framed better? That's all.
Rahul, once again, I do not make the mistake of being national spokesperson for another party on national television.
I know, it's difficult to defend the indefensible.
But I will humor you and answer this question, right? I think sometimes when a political point is made, it carries the sort of blunt force of a weapon. And maybe it could have been framed better, but I would encourage you to
it can't carry the blunt force of fake news. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sorry. If you are talking about a collapsing production, index, then you have to show me those figures. That's not quite the case. And let's be honest about that. I have no problem. Mr. Gandhi can come out, but at least be factual, because there are people listening to you, the leader of the opposition. Yes, very quickly, Sanju Verma, and then I want to bring in Mr. Gupta also. Yes, I'll bring you in, Mr. Tiwari. Not running away. Yeah.
With no offense to Anish Gawande, I don't know where he got his numbers from, that unemployment rate in India is 8.7%. If you're taking the numbers from CMIE is run by a man called Mahesh Vyas, who's a P. Chidambaram acolyte and was a part of the Congress manifesto committees. Please look at the labor force surveys, and they clearly say that the unemployment rate in India on an average has been less than 3.2%. It is now well documented that we created 17.9 crore jobs in the last 10 years under Prime Minister Modi. We added 4.7 crore jobs as far as youth employment goes. And don't forget, Rahul, an achievement which is not spoken of is the fact that today we have more than 1.8 lakh startups. India is the world's third largest startup ecosystem. And don't forget that under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, more than 42 lakh crore worth of loans have been given, and more than 35 crore loan applications have been processed.
Labor force survey, viewers.
Employment has been changed.
Here, let me cite it.
Employment has changed.
Fair enough. Labor force survey says, specifically India's periodic labor force survey measures unemployment as a percentage of labor force without a job but looking for work, showing recent declines to around 3.2% annually, and fluctuating quarterly, with recent monthly figures for November 2025 around 4.8 to 5.2% overall. Viewers, this is one of the lowest around the world. Clearly, these people are employed somewhere.
Unless you believe Mahesh Vyas, a Congress
Mr. Gupta, yes, go ahead.
Rahul, I have a lot of points to make. I'll go one by one. If the Congress spokesperson is to be believed, then purely going by his logic, people are choosing death over voting for the Congress. I mean, I don't know where he's faking this suicide numbers from, but it's alarming what he's saying. Number two, Rahul Gandhi doesn't even realize that during the UPA regime, a BMW plant actually came up in Chennai. It still runs. Rahul Gandhi doesn't know the achievements of his own government, the little few achievements they had, he's not even acknowledging them. Number three, he talks about building a meaningful manufacturing ecosystem. Rahul, do you think BMW was built in a decade, or Hyundai for that matter, or Ford in America? Absolutely not. A meaningful manufacturing ecosystem requires reforms. And every time the Modi government has pushed for reforms, either on the labor side, on the landslide, they have just opposed all of them. The Congress has opposed every single reform. And today they are saying, let's build a meaningful manufacturing ecosystem. Number four, they say that, manufacturing as a percentage of the GDP is declining. That's a rhetorical phrase, because manufacturing in absolute terms is actually increasing. Just as the other sectors are relatively growing faster, and therefore the decrease is witnessed as a percentage of the GDP. But in purely nominal and inflation adjusted terms, manufacturing is going up. And very important point, the Congress was against the PLI scheme, that the state shouldn't give tax breaks to manufacturers. That is how South Korea did it. That is how China did it. That is also how Germany did it. When India tried to do it through PLI, this is the colossal mistake, you shouldn't be doing this. And finally, Anish made a very interesting point that should we go for labor-intensive manufacturing or research-intensive manufacturing? We need to go for both. Semiconductors is no longer about research. It's about supply chain security. Labor-intensive manufacturing, sure, it was working once upon a time, but even China has now overcome it. We have to look at manufacturing that caters to the world, not just to our labor industry. So we have to look at an overall approach. But to say that India doesn't have a manufacturing ecosystem is tremendously incorrect. Rahul Gandhi really needs to get his facts right.
viewers,
And one final point.
Can I just make one last point, Rahul?
I need to
Rahul,
move
allow
on.
me
I need
30
to
seconds.
move on.
Can I make a last
No, I
point?
need to move on. Congress person is raising his hand. He has only had one chance. Yes, very quickly.
Rahul,
Yeah.
see, I am not an economist and I don't.
Okay, then let's
believe
leave
in
it at that,
manufacturing.
sir. Then let's park this debate. No, let's now park. No, I don't want rhetoric, sir, please.
Because no, you did not call me as an economist here. You called me here as a Congress representative. And let me give you some more numbers. In India, if you look at the number of billionaires we talked about, Gujarat alone has 56% of total billionaires India has. So everything
can I
is
come
going
in
to
for a bit,
Gujarat.
please?
Okay, now, you know what kind of point is this? Please,
Why don't we
compete,
come
sir,
in?
with Gujarat. You have Karnataka there. Compete with them. What is this? I mean,
Rahul,
I'm not
Rahul,
going down this route,
your
sir. It's a ridiculous
country's
argument,
prosperity-
please.
country's
I know you're not an
prosperity
economist.
lies
Let's
in
just save your face and let's move on. Let's move on, viewers. Let's move on.
country's
This is
prosperity-
ridiculous. Viewers, percentage manufacturing of GDP in this country is 16%. In America, it's 10%. The Indian economy has grown over 10 years. We have not had a jump of manufacturing as a percentage of GDP. It's remained pretty much stable in the UPA years, but the economy has grown and other sectors are contributing to this growth also. And we are moving towards becoming a big manufacturing hub. And the government has set some ambitious targets and the trajectory is upwards. We should just leave it at that. There is a problem with Rahul Gandhi's overstatement. It's not matching up with the facts. But let's move on, viewers, because I am going to be talking about a story which has really hurt us all as Indians, and it should. India is choking on pollution, with the country's national capital being in the hazardous category for the past few days. Health concerns are on. Our children can't go to their schools. We're being asked, some of us, not to drive our cars. From tomorrow, viewers, lakhs of Indians, citizens in Delhi are going to be inconvenienced because they will not be allowed to enter the city limits if they don't have the right stage car. Viewers, GRAP 4 has been in place. Manufacturing, other activities that Rahul Gandhi is so concerned about ground to a halt, viewers, because of pollution. Our citizens are going to hospital gasping for breath in larger numbers than ever before. Our children are being operated upon in some cases. Even the T20 international match between India and South Africa in Lucknow was delayed earlier this evening. As you saw, Indian cricketers wearing a mask on the field. Hardik Pandya was spotted warming up while wearing a mask as the toss for the fourth T20 against South Africa was delayed. In fact, the match, we are told, has been abandoned due to excessive fog. Fog is the word. They are even not accepting what it should be, smog. And guess what, viewers? And I want to go full frame to those pictures. Look at what is happening on the right. Delhi government itself is admitting in press conferences that there is no respite in sight. It's a BJP government. And you have a BJP MLA who is on an obnoxious power trip in Indore. In Madhya Pradesh, BJP Indore MLA Rakesh Golu Shukla organized a grand wedding for his son, Anjanesh Shukla, with a spectacular fireworks display, reportedly costing lakhs of rupees. He's supposed to be a sevak. The BJP positions itself as a party committed to seva. Viewers, they are servicing us with poison. I mean, look at the optical incongruity. And what is this being spent on? A marriage, ostentatious marriage, this unchecked expenditure, viewers, slaps people across their face. Pataka party. At a time when people, viewers, are facing health risks on account of this toxic smog, this gentleman has organized for his children who have no sense, viewers, a pataka party. What does this tell you, viewers? What does this tell you? This tells you that arrogance is seeping out Power corrupts absolutely. The BJP should sack their MLA. He's cocking a snook at every propriety, viewers. Every sensitivity. Particulate matter released by firecrackers can penetrate deep into the lungs, cause inflammation and reduce lung capacity. Is this what we expect from our elected representatives to add to our pain? Cricket matches, as said, viewers, have been called off. But here we are having a pataka party. Adding to what? The pollution. I mean, this is absolutely shocking. Tushar Gupta, what do you think should be the punishment for this individual, this MLA?
Well, in the first place, I'm surprised why did the government did not have a notice banning any sort of firecrackers. See, there are two issues here. One, the kind of money being spent on the firecrackers. I don't think we should focus on the money part because that's the private right of the individual in question. However foolish it may sound to spend 70 lakh rupees on firecrackers, at the end of the day, it's his money, his choice, however he wants to burn it. But given the pollution right now across North India, not even concentrated in some pockets, we just had a match called off in Lucknow right now. The MLA, being a public servant, could have been more thoughtful about this entire, setup, this entire lavish function he threw for the guests. To have so many firecrackers, it's not good for him to begin with. Not good for the bride and the groom. Not good for the guests. I don't know, he was trying to impress, but the people he was trying to impress is the people he's trying to kill with these pollutants. I just don't know what he was trying to achieve here.
Does this couple also have no sense? I mean, would they want to be in the news for this reason? I mean, what are they? I mean, they must be really living in ivory towers, surrounded by their riches and yes men. I mean, that's the only way you can convince yourself to look so idiotic. Tushar Gupta, I mean, who in their right minds would invite this kind of approbation? I want to ask you, clearly there is a larger issue here and it's nothing to do. Let me tell you.
Rahul, to be very honest with you, most couples only aim to be featured on Instagram and other social media platforms. This couple would be quite pleased that they're featured on the national news channel. So I don't really know if they're upset about it or if they're happy about it. But clearly, there's no thought gone into this. I mean, look at the smoke. It's the visuals you're sharing. It's the smoke that's really concerning me. The kind of smoke around the food, around the people. It's just, some mindless celebration. And again, I'm not commenting it from a financial perspective, which is also a concern. I'm commenting on it from a common sense perspective, that why would you have so many crackers in a wedding? I mean, I can understand 1 or 2 crackers going off, it happens everywhere. But 70 lakh rupees worth of crackers, and even they look distracted. I just don't know what they were thinking. Probably just a power show off, perhaps.
I mean, just look at this, viewers, and I'm trying to now find Indore's AQI. And I had pulled this out just a short while back. There it is, viewers. Here it is. You can see the peak here. So you can see how the trends have moved up into this 300 plus area, peaked. This is what is happening, viewers. 300 plus AQI in Indore as it is, and you light up these crackers. I mean, there is just no other way of explaining this except that these individuals are drunk on power and have complete contempt for the people that they choose to serve. People are putting up with this. The BJP needs to take action against this MLA. He needs to be sacked. And I hope, Mr. Mishra, tomorrow the Congress makes this an issue. This should be symbolic of all that is wrong with this fight against pollution.
Rahul, one of the incidents, yes, we need to take an action on all such incidents. Government is responsible for the entire AQI and not specific just one incident. I would rather not choose to highlight just one incident. I will rather highlight the problem of Delhi as well as the country across, where BJP government has failed to control the pollution. Yes, this is also one of the issues where an MLA is burning 70 lakhs worth crackers. But I think we should see this not just as one of the cases. We should see in totality that we need to control the pollution, and government has totally failed across the states.
You see, viewers, there is no defense. This MLA has landed his party in a soup. The party can now say that it's very concerned about pollution, it is fighting it on a war footing. When their own MLA is going about doing this, viewers, it tells you that the government, the BJP, is non-serious. It's quite clear, because if they were serious by now, this particular MLA, Golu is his name, would have been sacked. He's an MLA from Indore, not an insignificant city, viewers. Rakesh Golu Shukla, Indore MLA, he should be sacked. There is no other way. And I hope in Parliament tomorrow, some people hold up this footage. I leave it at this, viewers. I leave it for you to ponder.
This is News 18 Network.